Welcome to Poetry Changes Lives. Poetry, history, thought for the day, sitting in the garden here, as usual, in southwest London. It's a nice warm day today, and I'm so happy to be out here because poetry seems to me to be one of those few constant things in my life at the moment that I know I can turn to on a daily basis and derive benefit in the way of encouragement, even comfort sometimes, inspiration. And it's just so nice to know that and to be able to fill my mind with something of beauty. I mean, goodness knows, if you turn on the television, or there's not much that you can say to yourself, wow, I'm going to treasure that moment in my brain. But with poetry, it's just so easy to do. And I'm just grateful for that. The eternal benign influence of poetry in my life is really something I never expected to have, but something I am deeply grateful and appreciative of, and I hope you are too. PoetryChangesLives.com is my website. You can read even more about what I ramble on about, and you can receive this daily reading as an email if you put your email in the box, completely free, of course, and you can also buy the book there if you wish. You know, I think this book is a very useful little tool to have near you, something that you know on a daily basis you can dip into and get a bit of encouragement and inspiration from. And there aren't many things in my life or even my house that I know like that I can just pick up on a daily basis that will help me. So that's the end of my sales pitch. I'm going to read a very beautiful poem today by one of my really top poets, I think. He's a Russian, Alexander Pushkin. Not perhaps terribly well followed over here, though of course he's very famous in Russia. He's still huge, and rightly so in my opinion. On this day in 1799 he was born. Pushkin was born into society, Russian nobility really, and he was a sensitive, though very touchy sort of person. He fought 29 duels during his life. Sadly, the 29th, the last one, did him in, and he was no longer with us. But at the age of 38, by then he'd written a large body of work, which is still, it's never gone out of popularity in Russia, certainly, and over here too. To me, I'm no expert on Russian poetry, but I have read a bit of his work and others such as Lermontov, and I do find his poetry very, very enchanting and lyrical sometimes, very sensitive, and you know, to me that's quite unusual in Russian poetry, or indeed in to use those descriptions about anything Russian, really. Enchanting, lyrical, and sensitive. I mean, I don't know Russia well enough. Who am I to pass judgment on the Russians? But I do think Pushkin particularly is, they should be proud to have him as an example, because he is clearly a very nice, sensitive, delightful person who must have been a joy to talk to, and is still justly famous, as I say. I was trying to think of a comparative poet in English 19th century poetry, and I think Pushkin is a sort of combination of Byron and Shelley to me. He has that sort of lovely way with words that they have, and also the passion of Byron, and I think it's a great combination. And I'm not sure if Byron and Shelley knew his work. Perhaps they're a bit too early. But still, I think Pushkin is a credit to his nation. And I'm going to read one of his poems that I like very much. It's called A Magic Moment I Remember. And it may have been written about a certain lady. We don't know who particularly. He had a lot of admirers and lady friends, a very popular man. I love this poem, and I think it's a voice that is very clear, and you can hear the sort of man he was coming through this, and I think it is a nice impression of somebody. Here we are, A Magic Moment That I Remember by Alexander Pushkin. A magic moment that I remember. I raised my eyes and you were there. A fleeting vision, the quintessence of all that's beautiful and rare. I pray to mute despair and anguish, to vain the pursuits world esteems. Long did I hear your soothing accents, long did your features haunt my dreams. Time passed, a rebel storm blast scattered the reveries that once were mine. And I forgot your soothing accents, your features gracefully divine. In dark days of enforced retirement, I gazed upon grey skies above, with no ideals to inspire me, no one to cry for, live for, love. Then came a moment of renaissance. I looked up. You again are there. A fleeting vision, the quintessence of all that's beautiful and rare. I think that's really, really touching. That gets to me the way a great poem so often does, I'm glad to say. I can just feel Pushkin's voice behind those words. And it reminds me in a little way of Byron's She Walks in Beauty Like the Night, you know. I hope you like that. Today I will remember, today is all the time I have. I will use it well, so that tomorrow will be even better. Isn't that a good thought? I wish you a good day, and thank you for listening.